Welcome to Networking RX, a podcast devoted to helping business professionals like you enhance your networking skills in order to become more proficient giving and receiving quality business referrals and improving the overall quality of your life and the lives of those around you. The Networking RX podcast is a production of AmSpirit Business Connections, an organization whose mission is to empower business success through networking.
Not long ago, the Super Lotto, the Mega Lotto, I get them confused. But anyhow, not long ago, the Super Lotto was over $1 billion, like 1.2, $1.5 billion. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of zeros there. And I was going into a convenience store, whatever. People lined up to buy their ticket to win $1 million. And I'm not judging. I think if we're all honest with ourselves, you dream about it. What would you do? My wife and I talk about it. What would we do if we won $1 billion, right? $1.5 billion. How much would you actually get after taxes, so on and so forth? I think it's human nature to find that quick fix that, probably goes back to the caveman days when they found that, that fishing hole that was just a treasure trove of fish all the time. It just made their life. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with winning the lottery. So I don't begrudge somebody playing the lottery. I don't begrudge somebody winning the lottery. I think it's a little odd that somebody would win the lottery and then lose it all quickly, but neither here nor there. But we're always trying to find that quick fix. So what I want to talk about today is kind of a quick fix or something really easy you can do to improve relationships. Now, I will admit on the front end, this study that I'm going to talk about was actually done with marital couples. But in my mind, relationships are relationships. And if you understand how those relationships work, professional relationships can be very similar. God gave us one brain. There's not a special compartment for business. It's one brain. It operates the same. But what the study showed is that simply being appreciative of your partner's good points, no matter how modest, improves the relationship. People who recognize someone else's efforts to be more patient, loving, happier, working harder, doing whatever, making an effort, it improves the relationships. That's what psychologists have discovered. The converse, those who believe that the other person can't change. They are who they are. It'll never be any better. It hurts the relationship, even if the other person's really making an effort. So it really comes down to really trying to convince yourself that change is possible and being appreciative that the other person's making steps in that direction. And that can manifest itself in lots of ways with respect to our relationship. Somebody trying to be on time. I know a lot of people who they're perpetually late. And I might joke, hey, you're not as late. Or, hey, it matters to you. You're trying to be on time. Just acknowledging those things. As simple as that might sound, yeah, they're still late, but you know what? You're trying not to be late, and you recognize it's a problem, and you're trying to do things. I left earlier. I just, I got behind a school bus, whatever it is. You appreciate the effort. So the secret to building, kind of a lottery ticket, right, of building a happy relationship, a productive relationship, a better relationship, is just the idea that other people can change, and giving them credit for that. It's simple. It's just a simple step, and not coming down on them because maybe they're not trying hard enough or whatever it might be. Now, this conclusion, as I indicated in the beginning, came from a study which involved marital couples, and what they did was they rated how much their partner was trying to improve the relationship. For example, did they make an effort to be a better listener or try to show more understanding? What they found is that after 3 months, they rated the relationship on the front end and they rated it on the back end, and the results showed that people who appreciated their partner, the other person's efforts to change were happier with the relationship. They were just happier with the relationship. This is a quote from one of the researchers. If you don't believe that your partner is capable of changing his or her fundamental characteristics, even when he or she is working hard to try to improve your relationship, you can actually end up discounting these efforts. So it certainly can be it can be common for us in relationships to maybe be skeptical about our partner's efforts or the other person's efforts. Try to resist that, right? You want to improve the relationship, and so you just have to be appreciative of that the other person is trying to make an effort. And again, this is true of dating relationships, marital relationships, business relationships. We all have people in our lives in business. I have an assistant, I have franchisees, I have members. We're all trying to be better. Nobody wants to just be where they're at. We all want to kind of improve. Even the person who might come down on themselves and say, "Oh, I'm not very good at remembering names." In their heart of hearts, they're trying to be better. They're not just totally throwing up their hands and doing it. So, simple lesson, simple lottery ticket approach to improving relationships is just being appreciative of the good things that people are, the good things that people do, and recognizing the notion that they're trying to be better. They're trying to, they're trying to improve. Do that simple thing, and your relationships, personal and professional, will be much, much better.
Thanks for joining us on the Networking RX podcast. Please put what you've learned into action today and let us know if you have questions, comments, or ideas for future topics. You can email them to us at podcast@amspirit.com. That's AmSpirit.com. Finally, so you never miss an episode, be sure to subscribe to the Networking RX podcast through iTunes, Overcast, or however you receive your podcasts. Now get out and network with someone.
The Networking RX podcast is the copyright production of AmSpirit Business Connection. All rights reserved.